Good evening, team. This is Andrew Crotty. I'll be presenting tonight on our cloud presentation that was discussed earlier in emails. Go ahead and if you need to, feel free to step away and raise any. If you have any questions, go ahead and just ping or raise your hand. So software as a service and platforms as a service, organizations looking to choose between the two, as well as IaaS and DaaS, must be sure to clearly understand the advantages of cloud services over traditional on-premise data centers. There are 5 key advantages of cloud service offers: scalability, resilience, cost, security, and automation. Infrastructure as a service moves file storage, networking, and computer resources to the cloud. These infrastructures offer several advantages over traditional on-premise infrastructures, but there are still matters of deciding between platforms as a service, software as a service, infrastructure as a service, and data as a service. The decisions will ultimately be based on the size and the type of organization you are a part of and what problems you will need to solve. Desktop as a service provides business with cloud-based virtual desktops as part of the subscription services. While deploying DOS, you'll need to be conscious of training and cost. Training, depending on the desktop as a service solution, the learning curve for employees learning how to access their desktops can be steep. When it comes to cost, licensing can be tricky, as each device needs to be licensed. Some providers handle licensing to make it easier. Local resource requirements, local control and network requirements, and security, attacks, mitigations, overall vulnerabilities, making sure companies meet key technology and resource requirements to move on to the cloud. Knowing how pre-made security hardening scripts and templates can strengthen and work with your platform. Also, always referring back to MITRE attack platforms and methods to overall strengthen the vulnerabilities and see what's being tracked and monitored by many different means. Keeping track of the MITRE attack as well keeps companies aware of new CVEs, and good news is most of your technical skills remains relevant in the cloud. System configurations, tasks such as creating routing rules, configuration archives, and managing policies are still necessary when you're deploying from an old premise server or public cloud. Local resource requirements continued, so having a strong security presence will be huge to keep track of finding a new baseline after conducting this transition to a cloud-based service. So like whenever implementing a new tool or platform, you always want to see how that's going to interact with your network, as well as how your users will utilize that software. Application security should be comprehensive in scope, work in multi-cloud and hybrid cloud environments, traditional host cloud workloads, containers, and Kubernetes, aggregate real-time information across environments. Application securities could often provide accurate and insightful information, but not just partial data. Understand what's happening inside each application at runtime in order to distinguish real vulnerabilities versus potential vulnerabilities. Service-oriented architectures. So this is the type of software design that makes software components reusable using service interfaces that use a common communication language over a network. So some things to keep in mind with this are estimating your bandwidth requirements, knowing your IP address requirements, and estimating your compute requirements. Advantages of an SOA can be multiple things such as service reusability, easy maintenance, availability, and reliability, as well as scalability. Service-oriented architectures continued. So keeping in mind just our circle of cloud of depending on what's going to be working best for you will be the type of service you'd like to take on, whether that's infrastructure, platform, serverless, or software. SOA represents an important stage in the evolution of application development and integration over the last few decades. Before SOA emerged in the late 1990s, connecting this application to data or functionality housed in other systems required complex point-to-point integration, an integration that developed had to recreate in part of a whole for new development products. So multiple deployment models, we have 4: private, public, community, and hybrid. With private clouds, in the private cloud, a business has access to infrastructures in the cloud that is not shared with anyone else. Public clouds, in the public cloud, individual businesses share on premises to access to basic computer infrastructures, servers, storage, networks, development platforms provided by a CSP. Community clouds are recent variations of private cloud models that provide a complete cloud solution for specific business communities. Hybrid cloud is a company's cloud developed and split between public and private cloud infrastructure. Sensitive data remains with a private cloud where high security standards can be maintained. Security, storage, legal, and privacy issues. Despite availability advancements with incorporation of AI systems and improved cloud infrastructures, there still exists the need to somehow integrate the system of process that can stop any leaks and slips. DevSecOps processes should still be practiced and used in order to counter any exploit and vulnerabilities. This is what our DevOps and DevSecOps teams across the globe are used for. Not only are they able to cater to problems on security, but also hold potential to increase the speed of applications and develop the features deployments. These are some references I use, reference this PowerPoint slide, and I really appreciate your time and hope you're staying safe, and don't click on those links.